Every single one of us made a choice this morning to come here. And we are in the midst of one of our very typical Katati winter mornings. The rain coming down and the chill. But I asked this morning that each one of us just give a moment of thought, of remembrance of why you started the process of getting ready and coming here this morning. And I think each in your own way, it has something to do with what you feel and experience when you walk in the door and sit down in this very special place. And what you feel is peace, love, joy, and presence. The presence of the divine, not only in this room, but within your very own being as well. May we never lose sight of that. And so it is.
Good morning. Does this sound okay? Okay. Well, I feel gratitude when I wake up on Sunday morning.
Stand a little closer to the mic. There you go.
Because I have a nice place to go to and nice people to be around, and I love coming here on Sunday mornings. So I had this come across the internet last month, and it's kind of hard to describe what it is, but it says 1,000 prayers from people around the world, but it kind of lifted me even more than that. You'll see. Right now, there are Tibetan Buddhist monks in a temple in the Himalayas, endlessly reciting mantras for the cessation of your suffering and for the flourishing of your happiness. Someone is writing a book that you will read in the next 2 years that will change how you look at life. Nuns in the Alps are in endless vigil, praying for the Holy Spirit to alight the hearts of all God's people. A farmer is looking at his organic crops, whispering, "Nourish them." Someone is willing to lend you money, wants to know what your favorite food is, and treat you to a movie. Someone in your orbit has something immensely valuable to give you for free. The next great song is being rehearsed. Thousands of people in yoga classes right now are intentionally sending light out from their heart chakras and wrapping it around the earth. This is my favorite one. Millions of children are assuming that everything is amazing and will always be that way. Someone is in pain, and a few months from now, they'll be thriving like never before. From where they are, they just can't see it. Someone has recently cracked open their joyous, genuine nature because they did the hard work of hauling years of oppression off their psyche. And I think of Jean when I say this, the rest of it. This luminous juju is floating in the ether and is accessible to you. Someone just this second wished for world peace in earnest. Some civil servant is making sure that you get your mail and your garbage is picked up, that the trains are running on time, that you are generally safe. Someone is dedicating their days to protecting your civil liberties and clean water. Someone is regaining their sanity. Someone is coming back from the dead. Someone is genuinely forgiving the unforgivable. Someone is curing the incurable. You, me, someone. Now,
Shannon, thank you very much. really picked up on that part about somebody wanting to take me to the movies. I don't know why, I just kind of stuck. Thank you very much. You know, there is amazing, where you're talking about the children thinking that everything's amazing. It truly is. If we just take a look at it, look for it, and experience it. It's going on all around us. And we've got the blinders on about being angry and all the different things that people wish we would be. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a rainy and beautiful morning in this lovely 114-year-old building. I think this is just really cool. I have a disappointment this morning, and I'm sure you will all share in it. You know, disappointment is the result of having great expectation. Well, we all had great expectation that Laura Benward and Carol Edgar would be here this morning, showering us with beautiful music. And I was sad to find out Friday evening that Laura was very, very ill, and Carol was lost somewhere between Paris and Santa Rosa. No idea.
She met a handsome Frenchman.
What's that? Maybe somebody wanted to take her to the movies, huh? We don't know. But so we had to make some changes, and thank you, Janet, for jumping in real quick with a mini message. We appreciate it. We aren't going to have Laura this morning, but hopefully soon. But I thought about when a couple weeks ago we had Lori and Julie and Sylvan, that with Laura and Carol being here this morning, as well as being accompanied by Debbie, that I wanted to talk about music. So I didn't change that. I want to talk about music anyway. But I'm in announcements now. Don't let me get started on my talk. Just I get carried away. Comes with senility, I guess. But at any rate, thank you very much to Natalie and Jean. We went together and formed a little posse, and we gave our rose arbor a haircut the other day. It's got its fall trim. Gave it a buzz cut, and by spring it'll be gorgeous. So thank you very much. That was quite a little job of work, ladies.
We did all the cutting, we just did the picking on it.
Let me see. Thursday was this past Thursday. Are you going to be on the 23rd?
Yes, we are.
We are 23rd, 2 weeks from Thursday. Ladies, book study. Doesn't have to be ladies. Guys are invited too. But it's Thursday morning, 10 o'clock in the hall. Great conversation, coffee, and I suspect there's other little things to nibble on too most of the time. So, any other announcements? Yes.
Friday to Saturday night into the morning, not in our community, but across our nation. Natural disaster descended on a lot of communities. And as we're sitting here in our beautiful 100-and-something-year-old building, semi-warm and dry, and with all of our stuff, a bunch of people had life-altering circumstances happen. When I became a member of the church, the exhortation was to commit to giving of your time, talent, thought, and treasure. If you're able to help some of the agencies that might help those devastated communities, do so. And at the very least, I'd like to have a moment of silence that we send love and healing and some caring towards those people that are suffering. They're still looking for survivors.
So where is this?
Missouri, Missouri. There was a candle factory where people were trapped in their business and they're trying to reach out with cell phones, trapped under wreckage. Disasters happened. Our community's been through a number of them. We know how, we're still here. After all of this, they will survive. But right before the holidays, when you're all getting ready for all that stuff, and all of a sudden there's not even a town to go home to, much less your own. So life-altering circumstances. So from our hearts, some love in time for that.
Why don't we just, thank you very much, Sabrina. Why don't we just take a couple of minutes. Debbie, do you have something that you could play that we would allow us to
Sure.
send our love and our energy and our healing to the people that need it? Spirit knows no time, no space. And our energies of love, compassion, and empathy and healing shall travel wherever the need exists. And so it is. Thank you. We are going to sing a song we haven't sung very much. It's called Flow, Spirit, Flow. Flow, Spirit, Flow. And I'm going to ask Debbie to play it through once for us. We could stand up and get ready to sing it. And the moments that we just had are a perfect example of spirit flowing. Now, as per a 114-year-old tradition, we may now greet each other in whatever way we find comfortable. You're laughing at me. That's okay. People have been laughing at me for almost all my life.
I'm not laughing at you.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Thank you for covering that.
Oh, sure.
get the words all right.
Yeah, like all the time. It's just so wonderful.
Wages too. It just doesn't get better. It doesn't. All this fun and wages too. It just doesn't get better. All that stuff. Sure.
I know, I crossed through it. I didn't know, so I went ahead.
How about a big deep breath? Would you? We have a wonderful opportunity today and every day, but especially at this time of year, with all the elements and all the people in our country that need help and all the tragedies. We have a wonderful opportunity to tap into that river of abundance and prosperity and to let it flow through us. I don't think there's anything that makes us feel as content, happy, sublime as when we take advantage of these opportunities to share abundance and prosperity and our love. Let's read together our affirmation of abundance, please. To realize an abundant life, one must practice giving, receiving, and gratitude. And oh, the gratitude. That's the joy. As we prepare for our practice this morning, let's sing together In the Stillness of the Silence, number 97 in the Reins.
Good morning. I am so delighted to see all these decorations when I walked in this morning. It's all new to me. And thank you to everyone who made it possible. It really reminded me that the flavor, or the sort of emotion or feeling that I most associate with this time of year is just joy. And I remembered being in a retreat years ago where there was an altar, and on the altar was a photo of Jesus laughing, just like laughing like that. And it just reminded me that, there's so much of that to be found in this path of faith and growth. It doesn't have to be all about struggle and trying to make meaning from suffering. Really, it's about celebration and joy and community. And so last week we tapped into a river of peace. This week it feels like a shower of joy wants to come in and just wrap our hearts in that joy that just bursts out of you, like when you laugh and you just can't even control it, it just comes out. Just feel that energy of joy fill the room now, and if you feel like laughing, I say, go right ahead. And it can happen anywhere. I remember, if you're familiar with Wilbur Hot Springs out in the Napa area, I think, Napa County. I've only been there once, and it's a beautiful, huge piece of property, all crisscrossed with trails. And I went up to a place where I think it was like on the ground, someone had created an offering to the four directions on top of this little rise, and there was this beautiful tree there, and I just lay down under it. And as I was looking up through the branches, I just had this wave of joy come over me, and I started laughing like, ha 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 ha, like, but uncontrollably, like it just bubbled up from, it was like a kundalini thing almost, from within me. And this is your opportunity to remember that joy is always there for you. And especially in this season when we're all so reminded of it. There's a book in the Bible that I don't think much of called the Book of Nehemiah, but there's one line in it that really struck me when I read it. Let the joy of the Lord be your strength, now and always. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. Well, what did I get finally call my message this morning? Music, the language of feeling. I heard that quote. I don't know who did it. I just heard it, I don't know, a month or so ago, and it really struck me. And I've been thinking about it. And so I just used it as a title this morning. And if you ever have a week where you don't have anything to do, just go to Google and Google quotes about the joy of and the value of music. There's a million. Anybody who ever was quoted saying anything has a quote about the value of music. And I think one of them that made me laugh and chuckle was a quote from Martin Luther. Now, Martin Luther has about 473, I didn't count them, but I'm estimating, about 473 quotes about the value of music. Millions of quotes about the Reformation. We're talking about the 1520 Martin Luther, not Martin Luther King Jr. So he had this to say, his last quote about the value of music. A person who does not regard music as a marvelous creation of God must be a clodhopper indeed, and does not deserve to be called a human being. He should be permitted to hear nothing but the braying of asses and the grunting of hogs. Right on, Martin. Oh, what a quote. But I think I agree with it, actually. You know, I love music. I'm part of a band, and the purpose of that band, though we do a few songs that I could call enriching or helping us connect with the divine within, with our spirit, mostly the purpose of our band is entertainment. And there's nothing wrong with that. We play for the Council on Aging and senior residential places. And I think to have entertainment for people is amazing and wonderful. But when it comes for music in church, I was so fortunate because over the last 20 years, Vivian and I agreed pretty much about what music should be, special music. And we had great success in having special music. A few of the times we had performers and entertainers. That's not what we wanted. It was people that could share a gift of music that helped us connect with our own indwelling spirit. And in all that time, I think in 20 years that I have been participating in the Sunday service, I think I've brought my guitar and played 6 times. 3 of those times I thought what I did was quite appropriate. 3 of those times it was by request from Vivian. And what she asked for and how I did it, I didn't think was that appropriate. But through the years, we've done pretty well in recognizing the importance of the music that acts as the moderator between your physical self and your spirit. We've had, up until COVID, once or twice a year for the past, 5, 6, 7 years, we've had all music Sundays. And a couple of times, a couple of the people who participated, it was kind of a performance, but overall it was wonderful when we could have so many musicians and singers and poets take part in that. It touches us in a different way. I think that in its own right, music may not change the world, but Bono says it may change the world, but what it really does is change people, and the people change the world. And I think that's marvelous. every Sunday, if we would pay attention, our three pianists, Debbie and Wayne and Michael, play prelude music. And they play amazing things. They think about it and they work on it. And Debbie, she plays everything from Scott Joplin to Janis Joplin, from Beethoven and Bach and Mendelssohn, Elton John, the Beatles, the full gambit of music that she feels might help each of us, or some of us, or one of us connect with that unseen part of us that has so much to do with how we feel, how we think, how we talk, how we act. And I sit here sometimes and I'm just as guilty as anybody else before the service. Well, I got to talk to this person and talk to this person, make sure this gets done, and oh, hey, did you? And there's such beautiful music that is actually being played for us to stop the chatter, calm down, and prepare ourselves in that beautiful place of awareness of the unseen, to where we can participate physically and spiritually in the service. And I hope we can all, when we walk in, save the howdy and the shake and the how you doing till after the service, when we have a designed fellowship time, and just feel the presence of the special that we have on Sundays. And actually, I wasn't being quite truthful a few minutes ago when I said we weren't going to have special music. Actually, we are. Debbie Knapp is going to provide us with some very, very special music. Debbie, would you care to tell us about it?
Sure. Should I come up here?
Sure.
Well, this feels really weird to talk. Not used to this. When our singers had to cancel today, I was telling Patrick, I'm playing in a concert, a benefit concert for Jacqueline in Park this afternoon, so I have some pieces pulled together. And there's one piece in particular that I realized that I've played it for about 25 years and it just grabs my soul. And when I first started playing it, I would weep every time I played it. Just, I don't know, there was something about the chords, the changes in the chords, the harmonies that would just get me and just kind of break me open. It's less and less now that I feel broken open by it, but there must have been something in the piece that kind of resonated with something I had gone through. I don't know if any of you have had an experience like that, where there's a piece of music that just grabs you and touches you, and you play it or listen to it over and over, and it just, it's like therapy or something. The piece is Opus 118, number 2, Intermezzo by Johannes Brahms. And it was written at the end of his life. His early compositions were very much driven by his ego. He was the best. He could play many, many, many notes. He could write long symphonies. He was such a skilled composer. So his early works were really based on ego and his struggles as a composer. And later in life, he wrote these intermezzi and smaller pieces that were more and more and more distilled. And you can just feel that they're not ego pieces. They're totally his soul saying something. So I'll play this intermezzo, and everyone will get something different from it, I'm sure. For me, what I get from this piece is life is beautiful and it's all okay.
Debbie, thank you. I don't know really what to follow that with. Uh, I remember about 4.5 years ago when Debbie and Sylvan included me, one of the maybe 3 times in my life that I have ever been fortunate enough to play beautiful music. They invited me to participate with my guitar, no lyrics, just music, to one of the most beautiful melodies that I've ever heard in my life. I think it's a tango called El Dia Que Me Quieres. And if you go back on our YouTube to the beginning, when we first started having YouTube, and come back this way about 8 weeks, 10 weeks into the first all music service, part 1, you can hear it. It was just, I listen to it every once in a while when I need a little clarification and straighten it out. And it makes me feel like everything's all right, to coin a phrase. Another time that I think about music, it was in June of 2007, and Vivian had asked me, that was our 100th anniversary of this church building. And Vivian asked if I would do a mini message that was long and had something to do with our history, that 100 years. Well, prior to this, there's a little backstory to this. Vivian worked diligently. Her mission, she felt, was to bring this community, transcend the doctrine and the dogma of Congregational Church of Katati to a free-thinking spiritual community with the purpose of elevating consciousness and enriching life. And I would always kid her. I was an old country music guy. I used to have a gospel group. I said, grew up a Methodist. I said, well, one of these days, Vivian, I'm gonna bring my guitar and I'm gonna sing the old rugged cross. And are ye able, said the dreamer, to be crucified? Are you able, said the master, to be crucified with me? And she'd look at me and she'd say, over my dead body. But in 2007, June 15th, that's exactly what I did, because I said, these are songs that were sung here 50, 70, 80 years ago. And I said, and I looked at her, she didn't die. But I think I'm very happy with what this community has to offer our community of Katati and Runner Park. I think we share some great wisdom, truth, and philosophy, and we have for years. And we also are so fortunate to have a little treasure trove, is that the right word to say it, of musicians that can share. Maury and Sherry, they always think that their gift of music is a performance. They rehearse and rehearse and rehearse. But it doesn't, the consciousness that they share it with doesn't come through like entertainment or a performance. It comes through with genuine love and caring. And it's a genuine gift of art. And the other artists that we have, Lori and Julie and Sylvan and Laura Benward, and our three pianists are such a gift to us. Because not only do we have words that we all share with each other that contain truth and wisdom and are not, they don't ask you to think a special way. They just hopefully require you to think for yourself. What makes sense to you? What works for you? And the music is a whole other dimension. Maury asked me one time to define art, an artist. And I said, that's a person that takes the beauty of the unseen and transforms it into something that everyone else can see and hear and feel. And music is one of those arts. These people, I watched a thing about Mozart here, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. He's 5.5 years old writing symphonies. By the time he was 18, he'd written like 80 symphonies and a dozen operas. And in 1 year learned Italian because that was the language of opera. He never went to a single day of formal education in his whole life. His father taught him everything he knew. And to have that ability, like Debbie can play several instruments and can play every type of music. There's a certain savvy that each of us has into a different facet of art or special or gift. And when we share that, it just makes this world a better place to live. And we are all the recipients of so much beauty. And I hope that on Sunday mornings when we come in and we hear the piano, we can sit down and listen to the gift that is being shared with us. That beauty, that calming, that healing, that insightfulness into our own souls from the divine that's everywhere. Music. It's a language that transcends and goes beyond any spoken word of any language that we know of. And we have that gift with us every Sunday right here at Church of the Oaks. May each of us think about how fortunate we truly, truly are. Mary, Mary, everybody. Mary, Mary. Let's talk about a little peace on earth, shall we? Stand up and sing, Let There Be Peace on Earth, number 25 in the songbook.
Oh, good. You know, everyone can feel